Most people spend more time planning their vacations than planning their lives. Here are 7 lessons from the 12-week year. Get more done in 12 weeks than others do in 12 months by Brian P. Moran and Michael Lennington. In the 12-week year, one of the core principles is focusing on shorter time frames to improve performance and achieve more in less time. The book argues that the typical yearly goal-setting process is flawed because it encourages procrastination, with most people only making significant progress toward their goals toward the end of the year. To overcome this, the authors advocate for adopting a 12-week planning period, treating each 12-week period as if it were an entire year. This forces a sense of urgency and focus that drives consistent action and results. 1. Focus on shorter time frames. The authors advocate for compressing annual goals into 12-week periods. This approach creates a sense of urgency and helps maintain focus, allowing individuals to accomplish more in a shorter time frame than traditional yearly planning. The examples provided in the book illustrate how focusing on shorter time frames can revolutionize the way individuals and teams operate. 1. Shifting mindset from annual to quarterly goals. One of the examples involves a sales team that traditionally set annual revenue goals. With an entire year to reach their target, the team would often fall into a cycle of complacency during the early months, only ramping up efforts as the year came to a close. As a result, the bulk of the work would get done under pressure in the last quarter, leading to stress, poor planning, and inconsistent results. By switching to a 12-week cycle, the team started treating each quarter as its own year. This shift dramatically changed how they approached their daily tasks. They could no longer rely on having months to catch up, so they adopted a much more disciplined approach to time management and goal setting. Each day and week became crucial in their overall progress. As a result, the team saw more steady performance throughout the year, with improved revenue numbers and less burnout at the end. 2. Urgency and immediate feedback loops. Another example in the book focuses on an individual who had struggled with fitness goals. In the past, this person set a goal to lose weight and get in shape over the course of a year but often found themselves off track. The long time frame made it easy to rationalize missed workouts or cheat meals because there always seemed to be plenty of time to recover. When this person adopted the 12-week framework, it forced them to focus on a much shorter deadline. By thinking in terms of a 12-week cycle, there was no later to make up for a skipped workout. Each week became critical to success. The shortened time frame also allowed for quicker feedback loops. Instead of evaluating progress every few months, progress was tracked weekly. If they veered off course, they could make adjustments immediately, rather than letting small mistakes accumulate over a longer period. The result was a more sustained commitment to daily exercise, healthier eating, and a clearer sense of accountability. At the end of 12 weeks, the individual had made far more progress than in previous years when they had the luxury of time to procrastinate. 3. Increased focus on priorities. In another example, a company used the 12-week year to help its leadership team better prioritize their work. Previously, the team would get bogged down in day-to-day tasks and reactive problem-solving, leaving little time for strategic initiatives. The traditional annual planning cycle made it easy to push long-term projects off to a later date in favor of more immediate demands. After adopting the 12-week year, the team began setting clear, specific goals for each 12-week cycle and aligning their weekly and daily actions with those goals. This shortened time frame created a heightened focus on what truly mattered. There was less room for distractions and busy work because every week was tied to a larger goal that had to be achieved within the 12-week period. This shift in focus also helped the leadership team communicate more effectively with their staff. Everyone became more aware of the company's priorities, and it was easier to measure progress. By the end of each 12-week cycle, the team was able to reflect on their successes and challenges, which provided a clear path for improvement in the next cycle. This led to higher productivity, better alignment, and a stronger culture of accountability. 4. Eliminating the comfort of time. A key takeaway from these examples is that the comfort of a long time frame can be detrimental to productivity. When people believe they have an entire year to accomplish something, it creates a false sense of security. Small setbacks don't feel significant because there's always time to recover. However, when the time frame is reduced to 12 weeks, there's no room for complacency. Every action counts, and progress is continually measured. The authors demonstrate that by focusing on shorter time frames, individuals and teams are more likely to stay on track, course-correct quickly when necessary, and achieve their goals more consistently. These examples from the 12-week year highlight the importance of focusing on shorter time frames, which promotes urgency, enhances focus, and eliminates the temptation to delay meaningful action. It also builds momentum and discipline that ultimately lead to greater achievement in both personal and professional contexts. 2. Set specific goals. Moran and Lennington emphasize the importance of setting clear, specific, and measurable goals. By defining what success looks like within the 12-week period, individuals can create actionable plans that drive results. The authors emphasize the importance of setting specific, measurable, and actionable goals as a foundation for success. They argue that many people set vague or broad goals, which leads to lackluster results because there is no clear path forward. By setting specific goals, individuals and teams can direct their efforts toward clear targets, measure progress effectively, and stay motivated. The examples provided in the book demonstrate how setting specific goals creates clarity and drives action. 1. Transforming a business through specific goals. One of the examples in the book involves a small business owner who wanted to grow their business. For years, they set broad goals like increase revenue or grow the customer base, but the lack of specificity left them without a clear roadmap. As a result, progress was slow, and it often felt like the business was treading water, unable to make significant strides. After adopting the 12-week year system, the business owner was encouraged to set more specific, actionable goals. Instead of increase revenue, they set a goal of increasing monthly sales by 15% within the next 12 weeks. To achieve this, they broke the goal down further into clear actions, such as increasing outbound sales calls, launching targeted marketing campaigns, and improving follow-up processes with potential clients. The shift in specificity had an immediate impact. The business owner knew exactly what needed to be done each week and could track progress toward the 15% revenue increase. The specificity of the goal also allowed for quick adjustments if certain strategies weren't working, and it motivated the team because they could see how each action contributed to the overall objective. By the end of the 12-week period, the business had not only achieved the revenue target but had developed stronger sales and marketing processes that would continue to drive growth in future cycles. 2. Personal fitness, moving from vague to concrete. Another example focuses on a man who had long struggled with getting in shape. Each year, he would set vague goals like get fit or lose weight, but without a clear plan, his enthusiasm would wane after a few weeks, and he would fall back into old habits. The lack of a specific goal made it difficult to measure success or stay accountable. When he switched to the 12-week framework, the first change was setting a specific goal: lose 10 pounds and run a 5K within 12 weeks. This goal was not only specific, but it was also measurable and tied to a concrete outcome: the ability to run a 5K race. With this clear target in mind, he created a weekly exercise schedule, incorporating running, strength training, and a structured meal plan to support his weight loss. He could now track his progress each week by measuring his weight and timing his runs. This specificity helped him stay motivated because every workout and meal choice had a direct link to his 12-week goal. When he hit a plateau, he was able to tweak his routine, knowing exactly where he stood in relation to the end goal. At the end of 12 weeks, not only had he achieved the weight loss and completed a 5K, but he had also established a sustainable fitness routine. The clarity of the specific goal allowed him to take deliberate action every day, making his success far more likely than in the past when his goals were vague. 3. Team collaboration and accountability. Another compelling example highlights a marketing team that wanted to improve their project execution. Before adopting the 12-week year approach, the team's goals were typically along the lines of complete more projects or improve collaboration. These general goals led to disorganization, missed deadlines, and frustration within the team because no one was entirely sure what success looked like or how their individual contributions aligned with the broader objectives. When they switched to setting specific goals, everything changed. They established a goal of completing 3 major marketing campaigns, generating a 20% increase in leads, by the end of the next 12 weeks. To break this down, they identified the specific milestones required for each campaign, such as developing creative assets, approving content, launching ad strategies, and analyzing performance metrics. By assigning each team member clear responsibilities tied to these milestones, accountability improved dramatically. Everyone understood what was expected of them, and they could see how their work directly impacted the success of the campaign. Weekly meetings became more focused because progress could be measured against the specific goals, and any issues were addressed immediately. As a result, the team not only hit their targets but exceeded them, with a 25% increase in leads and a smoother, more cohesive collaboration process. 4. Personal finance, from ambiguous aspirations to tangible results. Another individual example in the book centers on personal finance. A woman had long hoped to improve her financial situation, but her goals were always vague. She would think about saving more or paying off debt but lacked a clear plan for doing so. Because her goals were not specific, she often found herself overspending, making little progress toward her financial aspirations. With the 12-week-year system, she set a specific goal: save $5,000 and pay off $2,000 of credit card debt within the next 12 weeks. This goal was concrete, measurable, and time-bound, giving her a clear target to work toward. To achieve this, she outlined weekly and monthly actions, such as cutting unnecessary expenses, setting up automatic transfers to her savings account, and making extra payments on her credit cards. Each week, she tracked her progress by reviewing her savings balance and credit card statements. This specificity helped her stay focused and disciplined. If she noticed that she was falling behind, she could immediately identify areas where she could adjust her spending. By the end of the 12 weeks, she had met her financial goals and developed healthier spending habits. The specificity of her goal had given her a sense of control over her finances that she had never experienced before. 5. Learning new skills with precision. In another example, a professional wanted to learn a new skill, coding. In the past, they had made broad statements like "I want to learn how to code," but without a clear objective. Their efforts were sporadic, and they often felt overwhelmed by the sheer amount of material to learn. Adopting the 12-week-year system, they set a specific goal: complete an introductory Python programming course and build a functioning web app within 12 weeks. This goal was specific and measurable, with a clear outcome: building a web app. Breaking this goal down into weekly learning modules and coding practice made the process more manageable. Each week had a clear objective: complete lessons, write small programs, and gradually build the skills needed for the final project. By focusing on this specific goal, the person stayed engaged, motivated, and could measure their progress. At the end of the 12 weeks, not only had they completed the course, but they had also built a functional web app, something they had never managed to achieve with their previous vague goal of learning to code. These examples from the 12-week-year illustrate how setting specific goals provides clarity, measurable outcomes, and a roadmap for success. Whether applied in business, fitness, finance, or personal development, specific goals help people focus their efforts, track progress, and achieve meaningful results within a short period. 3. Create weekly plans. To achieve 12-week goals, the authors recommend breaking them down into weekly plans. This structured approach allows for regular assessment of progress and adjustments as needed, ensuring that individuals stay on track. One of the most powerful tools for achieving goals is creating weekly plans. A key idea in the book is that annual goals can seem distant and overwhelming, but by breaking them down into 12-week cycles and focusing on weekly execution, you create a clear path toward success. Weekly plans help individuals prioritize their most important actions, stay on track, and avoid distractions, ensuring that consistent progress is made. The examples from the book illustrate how creating effective weekly plans transforms goal setting into tangible results. 1. the sales team, turning strategy into weekly execution. One example in the book involves a sales team that struggled with inconsistent results. The team had high-level targets, such as increasing client acquisition, but these long-term goals often led to reactive behavior and poor time management. Team members spent most of their time responding to client issues or handling administrative tasks, leaving little room for proactive sales efforts. After adopting the 12-week year system, the team began breaking their big goals down into weekly plans. Each week, they identified the specific actions they needed to take to move closer to their 12-week goal of securing 20 new clients. For example, 1 week's plan might include making 50 outbound sales calls, scheduling 5 client meetings, and preparing a proposal for a key prospect. By having a clear, action-oriented plan each week, the team shifted from reactive to proactive work. They started allocating their time more effectively, prioritizing activities that drove sales rather than getting bogged down in low-value tasks. Weekly check-ins ensured that everyone stayed focused on their top priorities. If they missed a target 1 week, they could immediately adjust the next week's plan to stay on track. Over the 12-week cycle, the team hit their client acquisition goals and saw steady growth, all because they turned long-term strategies into weekly, actionable steps. 2. Fitness transformation, breaking down big goals. A personal example in the book highlights a woman who had long wanted to improve her fitness but struggled to follow through. In the past, she would set ambitious goals like lose 20 pounds or run a marathon, but without a concrete plan, she found herself losing motivation after a few weeks. The size of the goals made them feel distant and unmanageable. With the 12-week year approach, she learned to create weekly plans that broke her large fitness goals into smaller, achievable steps. For example, if her 12-week goal was to lose 10 pounds and complete a half marathon, her weekly plan might include 5 30-minute runs, 2 strength training sessions, and a meal prep day to ensure she stayed on track with healthy eating. By focusing on what she needed to do each week rather than being overwhelmed by the end goal, she was able to make steady progress. Each week's plan was detailed and specific. Instead of exercise more, her plan would lay out exactly what days she would run, how long she would train, and what meals she needed to prepare. This approach helped her stay disciplined and focused, and by tracking her weekly accomplishments, she could see how each action contributed to the larger goal. At the end of 12 weeks, she had lost the weight and completed her half marathon, something she had never achieved with her previous, vague plans. 3. Entrepreneurial growth, tackling multiple projects. An entrepreneur in the book wanted to grow their business but found themselves constantly pulled in different directions. They had several large goals, such as launching a new product, improving customer service, and expanding marketing efforts. However, without a clear plan, they felt overwhelmed by the sheer number of tasks and often found themselves putting out fires rather than making real progress. The solution came when they started creating detailed weekly plans that aligned with their 12-week objectives. Instead of trying to tackle everything at once, they focused on specific projects each week. For example, in 1 week, their plan might include completing the product design for the new launch, reviewing customer service feedback, and writing a marketing strategy for the next quarter. By focusing on a few key tasks each week, they were able to make consistent progress on multiple fronts without feeling overwhelmed. Each week had a clear focus, and the entrepreneur could measure success by checking off the critical tasks. The weekly plans also provided flexibility. If 1 week was particularly busy with client work, they could adjust the following week's plan to ensure that the most important tasks were still being addressed. By the end of 12 weeks, the entrepreneur had not only launched the new product but also improved customer service and revamped their marketing efforts, all thanks to the disciplined execution of weekly plans. 4. Corporate team, breaking down strategic objectives. A corporate team tasked with improving operational efficiency struggled to implement their strategy. The team had set a broad goal of reducing operational costs by 10% over the next 12 months, but without a clear plan, they found themselves making little progress. Day-to-day demands often took priority, and the cost reduction goal was continually pushed to the background. With the 12-week-year methodology, the team began creating weekly plans that aligned with their cost reduction goal. For example, in the first week, the plan might include analyzing current expenses, identifying areas of waste, and scheduling a meeting to discuss potential process improvements. The following week's plan could focus on evaluating vendor contracts, negotiating better rates, and identifying automation opportunities. By breaking the broader goal into specific weekly actions, the team was able to make steady progress toward their objective. The weekly plans provided clear direction and allowed them to focus on one or two key areas each week rather than feeling overwhelmed by the entire project. Over the 12-week period, the team reduced operational costs by more than 10%, surpassing their goal. The weekly planning process also created a culture of accountability. Each team member knew what their role was, and progress was reviewed regularly. 5. Personal development, learning a new skill. A final example involves an individual who wanted to learn a new skill, public speaking. In the past, they had set broad goals like become a better speaker, but without a structured plan, they struggled to make consistent improvements. They would attend a few workshops, practice sporadically, and then lose momentum. When they adopted the 12-week-year system, they created a weekly plan that broke the larger goal into manageable actions. For example, the first week's plan might include researching local speaking opportunities and practicing a 5-minute speech in front of a friend. The second week might focus on joining a Toastmasters group, while the third week would involve recording a practice speech and reviewing the performance for areas of improvement. By having a specific, action-oriented plan each week, the individual was able to make steady progress. Each week's plan built upon the previous one, creating a sense of momentum. By the end of the 12-week period, they had improved their confidence and speaking skills, participated in several public speaking events, and received positive feedback from peers, all thanks to the focused, step-by-step approach laid out in their weekly plans. These examples from the 12-week-year illustrate how creating detailed weekly plans ensures that goals are broken down into specific, actionable tasks. Weekly planning helps individuals and teams stay focused on what matters most, track progress, and maintain momentum throughout the 12-week cycle. By focusing on smaller, achievable tasks each week, people can make significant strides toward their long-term goals without feeling overwhelmed or distracted. 4. Implement accountability. Accountability is a crucial element of the 12-week year. The authors suggest establishing accountability partnerships or groups to provide support, encouragement, and motivation, which can significantly enhance commitment to goals. Accountability is presented as a crucial element for achieving goals and driving results. Accountability is not about blame or punishment, but about ownership, owning your actions, commitments, and outcomes. The book emphasizes the importance of creating an accountability structure that keeps individuals and teams focused, committed, and on track to achieve their goals. Through deep examples, the authors demonstrate how implementing accountability transforms performance by fostering discipline and a results-driven mindset. 1. Sales team, the power of accountability groups. One of the key examples in the book involves a sales team that had been struggling to meet its targets. Each salesperson had individual goals, but there was little structure in place to ensure they were consistently working toward them. The team would often make excuses for poor performance, blaming market conditions or external factors, rather than taking responsibility for their results. Without an accountability system, there was no immediate pressure to improve, and the team's performance was inconsistent. To change this, the company implemented an accountability group structure. Each week, sales team members were required to meet in small groups and report on their progress toward their 12-week goals. During these meetings, they shared what actions they had taken, where they had succeeded, and where they had fallen short. If someone didn't meet their goals, they had to explain why and outline how they planned to adjust the following week. This simple act of regularly reporting to peers created a powerful sense of accountability. No one wanted to show up week after week with excuses, so everyone began to take greater ownership of their results. The act of sharing progress and setbacks fostered a culture of support and problem-solving, where team members could offer advice or help each other get back on track. Over time, the team's performance improved dramatically because everyone felt a sense of responsibility, not only to themselves but to their peers. The sales team exceeded their 12-week targets because they were consistently held accountable for taking action every week. The pressure of accountability transformed their behavior from passive to proactive, driving sustained progress toward their goals. 2. Fitness journey, the role of an accountability partner. In a personal example from the book, a man was trying to lose weight and get in shape. He had attempted this several times before but struggled to stay consistent with his workouts and diet. Without anyone to hold him accountable, it was easy to skip a gym session or indulge in unhealthy meals because there were no immediate consequences. To overcome this, he decided to enlist the help of an accountability partner, a close friend who shared a similar fitness goal. They agreed to check in with each other daily, sharing their workouts, meals, and progress. Every Sunday, they would meet in person to review the week's efforts and set goals for the upcoming week. The presence of an accountability partner made all the difference. On days when he felt unmotivated to exercise or was tempted to make poor food choices, he knew he would have to explain those decisions to his friend. This added layer of responsibility kept him on track. The friend wasn't there to criticize him, but knowing that someone else was counting on him to take action made him more disciplined. The weekly check-ins also allowed him to assess his progress in a structured way, celebrate small victories, and make adjustments when necessary. With the help of his accountability partner, he achieved his fitness goals, lost weight, and built sustainable habits that carried beyond the 12 weeks. 3. Corporate team, accountability drives results. Another example highlights a corporate team that had ambitious goals but lacked a strong accountability system. The team was responsible for launching a new product, but internal meetings were often unproductive, and deadlines were missed. When setbacks occurred, the team members would blame external circumstances or unforeseen challenges. There was no system in place to hold individuals accountable for meeting their specific responsibilities, and as a result, progress was slow. To address this, the team leader introduced a formal accountability structure. Each team member was assigned specific tasks aligned with the 12-week goals, and every week, they had to report their progress in team meetings. If someone missed a deadline or failed to complete a task, they were expected to explain why and present a plan to correct the situation moving forward. This accountability system shifted the team's dynamic. Rather than pointing fingers or blaming external factors, each person took responsibility for their own work. Team members knew they had to show up to the weekly meeting prepared to share their progress, which created a sense of urgency and ownership. There was also a greater focus on problem solving. When someone faced an obstacle, the team worked together to find a solution instead of allowing delays to drag on. As a result, the product launch was not only completed on time but exceeded expectations. The accountability structure kept the team focused and disciplined, with each member fully engaged in the success of the project. 4. Entrepreneurship, self-accountability for personal growth. A solo entrepreneur in the book struggled with time management and procrastination. Without a boss or team to hold them accountable, it was easy to push deadlines or avoid difficult tasks. They had ambitious business goals, such as increasing revenue and launching new products, but without external accountability, those goals often fell by the wayside. The entrepreneur implemented a system of self-accountability by creating a weekly accountability session with themselves. Every Monday, they set aside time to review the previous week's progress, assess what was working, and identify areas for improvement. They also set clear, specific tasks for the upcoming week, all of which were tied to their larger 12-week goals. In addition, the entrepreneur began writing down their commitments and sharing them with a trusted mentor. While the mentor wasn't directly involved in the business, simply knowing that someone else was aware of their goals added a layer of accountability. At the end of each week, they would send a progress update to the mentor, sharing both successes and setbacks. This self-accountability system created a structure that the entrepreneur had been missing. They became more disciplined about their time and more intentional about their daily actions. The process of regularly reviewing progress and reporting to someone else kept them focused, and they began to see tangible results. Over the 12 weeks, the entrepreneur achieved their business goals, increased revenue, and launched 2 new products, all thanks to the power of accountability. 5. Team of executives, peer accountability at the leadership level. In another example, a leadership team at a large corporation was tasked with implementing a major strategic initiative. The leaders were highly capable, but because they were senior executives, they had no one directly holding them accountable for their individual contributions to the project. As a result, there was little follow-through, and deadlines were frequently missed. The company introduced a peer accountability system for the executive team. Each leader was paired with another executive, and they were required to meet weekly to discuss their progress on the initiative. During these meetings, each person had to share what actions they had taken, where they had succeeded, and where they had fallen short. They also discussed any challenges they were facing and brainstormed solutions together. The peer accountability system created a significant shift in the team's behavior. Knowing that they had to report their progress to a fellow executive each week motivated the leaders to take action consistently. The process was collaborative rather than punitive, with the focus on helping each other succeed. The leaders also found that discussing their challenges with a peer led to better problem-solving and faster decision-making. As a result, the strategic initiative was completed ahead of schedule, and the executive team became more aligned and cohesive. The accountability structure ensured that each leader owned their responsibilities and contributed fully to the team's success. These examples from the 12-week year highlight the transformative power of implementing accountability. Whether through peer groups, accountability partners, or self-accountability systems, the act of regularly reporting progress and taking ownership of results creates discipline, focus, and consistent action. By fostering an environment of support and responsibility, accountability helps individuals and teams achieve their goals and drive lasting success. 5. Measure progress regularly. Regularly measuring progress is essential for staying aligned with goals. The book encourages weekly reviews to assess what's working, what isn't, and to make necessary adjustments to strategies and actions. Measuring progress regularly is emphasized as a key practice for achieving goals within a short, focused time frame. Regular measurement allows individuals and teams to assess whether they are on track, make necessary adjustments, and stay focused on what matters most. The book encourages breaking down goals into actionable steps, tracking performance frequently, and using data to make informed decisions. The deep examples provided in the book show how regular progress measurement transforms efforts from vague aspirations into concrete, measurable achievements. 1. The sales team, tracking weekly metrics. One example involves a sales team that was struggling to hit its revenue targets. In the past, the team set broad, year-long goals like increase sales by 20%, but they rarely measured their progress until the end of the quarter or year. By the time they reviewed their performance, it was often too late to correct course. With the 12-week year system, the team began breaking their annual goals into 12-week cycles and implemented a system for measuring their progress weekly. Instead of focusing solely on end results like revenue, they tracked key performance indicators, KPIs, that would drive those results, such as the number of sales calls made, meetings scheduled, and proposals sent. Each week, the salespeople measured their activity against these KPIs and reviewed the data as a team. For instance, if someone had a week where they only made 20 calls instead of the 50 they had planned, they could immediately identify the gap and take corrective action the following week. By regularly measuring these leading indicators, the team could quickly see whether they were on pace to hit their 12-week goal of boosting sales by 15%. This frequent measurement kept the team focused and accountable. Because they tracked progress on a weekly basis, they didn't wait until the end of the quarter to find out they were behind, they could adjust immediately. Over time, this system of regular progress measurement helped the sales team exceed their goals by staying consistently aligned with their action plan. 2. Personal fitness journey, tracking fitness metrics. In another example, a woman who had set a goal to run a half marathon within 12 weeks learned the value of measuring progress regularly. Previously, she would set lofty fitness goals like get in shape or run more, but she never tracked her progress consistently. Without regular measurement, she lost motivation and often abandoned her goals before seeing results. With the 12-week-year system, she started tracking specific fitness metrics every week. For example, she set a goal to run 30 miles by the end of week 4. To reach this goal, she measured how many miles she ran each week, how long each run took, and how she felt after each session. She also tracked her diet, hydration, and recovery habits, which contributed to her overall fitness progress. By measuring her runs weekly and reviewing her progress at the end of each week, she could easily see if she was on track or if she needed to adjust her training. In one particular week, she realized that she had only run 12 miles instead of the planned 15. Instead of feeling discouraged, the data gave her the insight to push a bit harder in the following week to stay on pace. The consistent measurement of her performance kept her focused, motivated, and accountable. By the end of the 12 weeks, she not only completed the half marathon but also exceeded her expectations in terms of speed and endurance, thanks to the disciplined habit of measuring her progress along the way. 3. Corporate project team, using data to track efficiency. A corporate project team tasked with improving operational efficiency learned the importance of regular measurement in their 12-week initiative. The team had a big-picture goal of reducing operational costs by 10%, but they didn't have a clear process for tracking their progress. With the 12-week-year approach, the team implemented a system for measuring key metrics related to operational efficiency. They identified several leading indicators that would help them achieve their cost reduction goal, such as the time it took to complete certain tasks, the percentage of errors in processing, and the costs associated with specific operations. Each team member was responsible for tracking one or more of these metrics and reporting back on their progress during weekly meetings. For example, one week, the team measured how long it took to complete customer orders from start to finish. When the data revealed inefficiencies in a particular part of the process, the team made adjustments and then measured the impact of those changes the following week. By reviewing data each week, the team could immediately see what was working and what wasn't, allowing them to make quick improvements rather than waiting until the end of the project to analyze results. This regular measurement and adjustment process helped the team stay on track and ultimately exceeded their goal, reducing operational costs by more than 12%. The discipline of measuring progress weekly provided clarity and direction, ensuring that the team focused on the most impactful actions each step of the way. 4. Entrepreneurial growth, monitoring key business metrics. An entrepreneur working to grow their online business used the 12-week-year system to measure progress on a regular basis. In the past, they had set annual revenue goals but rarely checked their progress until the end of the quarter, often realizing too late that they were off track. This lack of regular measurement made it difficult to make timely adjustments to their strategy. Under the 12-week-year model, the entrepreneur began measuring key business metrics weekly. These metrics included website traffic, lead generation, conversion rates, and customer retention. Each of these metrics directly contributed to their 12-week goal of increasing sales by 25%. Every Monday, they reviewed the previous week's data to see if they were on track. For example, if web traffic was lower than expected, they would adjust their marketing efforts immediately. Similarly, if conversion rates dropped, they would experiment with different sales strategies the following week. This consistent measurement helped them identify patterns and trends early, allowing them to pivot quickly and stay aligned with their goals. By the end of the 12-week period, the entrepreneur had grown their business significantly. The habit of measuring progress weekly helped them stay laser-focused on the most important activities, and they were able to increase revenue by 30%, surpassing their original goal. 5. Personal development, learning a new skill. A final example highlights a man who set a goal to improve his public speaking skills in 12 weeks. Initially, he struggled because he didn't track his progress consistently. He would practice occasionally, but without regular measurement, it was difficult to know if he was improving. When he adopted the 12-week-year system, he began measuring his progress each week. He set specific, measurable goals for each week, such as practicing a 10-minute speech, attending a Toastmasters meeting, or getting feedback from a colleague. After each practice session, he recorded how confident he felt, how many filler words he used, and how well he adhered to his plan structure. This consistent measurement allowed him to see incremental improvements in his speaking ability. In week 3, for example, he noticed that his use of filler words had decreased by 20% compared to week 1. By tracking these small but significant changes, he stayed motivated and could easily identify areas for further improvement. At the end of 12 weeks, the man had made remarkable progress in his public speaking. He had not only gained confidence but also significantly improved his delivery and feedback from peers. The regular measurement of his progress ensured that he stayed on track and focused on continuous improvement. These examples from the 12-week year demonstrate how regularly measuring progress provides critical insights, keeps individuals and teams focused, and allows for timely adjustments. By breaking down large goals into smaller, measurable components and tracking performance weekly, people can stay aligned with their goals, avoid surprises, and achieve more in a shorter time frame. Regular measurement turns goals from abstract ideas into actionable, data-driven strategies that lead to tangible results. 6. Embrace a results-oriented mindset. Moran and Lennington stress the importance of focusing on results rather than activities. By prioritizing outcomes, individuals can ensure that their efforts are aligned with achieving their goals, rather than just being busy. Embracing a results-oriented mindset is a central theme for achieving extraordinary performance in a shorter period. A results-oriented mindset focuses on achieving specific outcomes rather than merely completing tasks or being busy. The book advocates for shifting from a process-driven approach, where effort is the priority, to a results-driven approach, where measurable progress and tangible outcomes are paramount. The deep examples shared in the book highlight how adopting this mindset can transform both individual and team performance by keeping the focus on what truly matters, delivering results. 1. Sales team, focusing on revenue, not activity. One example provided in the book involves a sales team that had always prided itself on how hard its members worked. They spent a significant amount of time making phone calls, meeting with clients, and attending conferences. However, despite all the effort, the team consistently missed its revenue targets. The issue was that the team was focused more on being busy than on achieving specific results. When the company implemented the 12-week year system, the sales team had to shift its focus from how many calls or meetings were being made to what results were being achieved. Instead of measuring activity, the team began setting specific revenue goals for each 12-week cycle and then tracked progress toward those outcomes. For example, instead of a salesperson saying, "I made 50 calls this week," they started to focus on the number of deals closed or the dollar value of sales generated. The team also became more strategic about where to spend time, focusing on high-value leads and improving the quality of client interactions rather than simply increasing the quantity of calls. This results-oriented shift had a dramatic impact on performance. The team became more intentional in how they approached each day, aligning their actions with the specific outcomes they were targeting. By the end of the 12-week period, the team had exceeded its revenue goals because it was laser-focused on closing deals and driving sales, not just on putting in the hours. 2. Entrepreneur, moving beyond tasks to business growth. In another example, an entrepreneur who had been working to grow their business found themselves trapped in a cycle of busyness. They were constantly managing emails, tweaking the website, and handling day-to-day operations. While they were working hard, they weren't seeing the growth they had hoped for. The issue was that they were focused on completing tasks rather than achieving results that would drive the business forward. When the entrepreneur adopted the 12-week year system, they shifted their mindset to become results-oriented. Instead of measuring their productivity by the number of tasks completed each day, they began setting specific business goals for the 12-week period, such as increasing revenue by 20%, launching a new product, or acquiring a certain number of new clients. This change in focus transformed how they approached their work. For example, when the entrepreneur set a 12-week goal to increase client acquisition by 15%, they prioritized activities that directly contributed to that result, such as improving lead generation strategies and refining the sales pitch. Tasks that didn't support the desired outcome, like spending hours on minor website tweaks, were deprioritized or outsourced. As a result, the entrepreneurs saw significant growth in their business over the 12-week period. By focusing on results rather than tasks, they streamlined their efforts and made meaningful progress toward their bigger goals. 3. Corporate team, from activity to impact. A corporate team tasked with improving product development timelines provides another example of the power of a results-oriented mindset. The team members were highly skilled and diligent, but their efforts were focused on completing tasks like attending meetings, preparing reports, and managing small details. Despite all the activity, the team continually missed deadlines, and product launches were delayed. When the 12-week-year system was introduced, the team had to rethink how they approached their work. Instead of focusing on the tasks they were completing, they started setting clear, measurable outcomes for each 12-week period. For instance, the goal for one cycle was to reduce the product development timeline by 20%. With this results-oriented mindset, the team began making decisions based on how each action contributed to the desired outcome. They reduced unnecessary meetings, streamlined communication processes, and identified bottlenecks in the development process that were slowing them down. By the end of the 12-week period, the team had achieved its goal of shortening the timeline, enabling the company to launch products faster and more efficiently. The shift from activity to impact allowed the team to focus on actions that produced real, measurable results rather than just staying busy. This transformation improved both productivity and morale, as team members felt they were making a tangible difference. 4. Fitness goal, prioritizing results over effort. In a personal example, the book tells the story of an individual who had always struggled with fitness goals. They would spend hours at the gym and follow complex workout routines but saw little improvement in their overall fitness or body composition. The problem was that they were focused on putting in effort rather than achieving specific fitness results. When they adopted the 12-week-year approach, they set a clear goal for the 12-week period, to reduce body fat by 5% and increase strength by 15%. This results-oriented mindset changed how they approached their workouts and diet. Instead of simply spending time at the gym, they tracked progress towards specific performance metrics, such as lifting heavier weights or improving endurance. They also measured body composition regularly to ensure they were moving toward their desired result. By focusing on the specific outcome of reducing body fat and increasing strength, the individual became more strategic with their workouts, adjusting their routine and nutrition based on what produced results. At the end of the 12 weeks, they achieved their goals, experiencing the fitness transformation they had been aiming for. This example demonstrates how shifting from a focus on effort to a focus on outcomes can lead to better, faster results in personal development. 5. Marketing campaign, results-driven strategy. Another example from the book highlights a marketing team that was responsible for generating leads for the company's new product. Previously, the team had been focused on producing as many marketing materials as possible, creating blog posts, social media content, and email campaigns. While they were producing a lot of content, the results were underwhelming in terms of lead generation. When the team adopted the 12-week-year system, they changed their approach to focus on the specific result of increasing leads by 30% within the 12-week period. This results-oriented mindset caused them to rethink their entire strategy. Instead of creating content for the sake of staying busy, they analyzed which types of content and marketing channels produced the most leads. The team began focusing their efforts on high-impact activities, such as optimizing their email campaigns for conversions and using targeted social media ads to drive traffic. They also tracked the effectiveness of each strategy weekly, making adjustments based on what was generating the most leads. As a result, the team exceeded its goal, increasing lead generation by 35% within the 12 weeks. By focusing on results rather than activity, the team became more efficient and impactful in their efforts. These deep examples from the 12-week year show how embracing a results-oriented mindset drives better performance by focusing on what truly matters, achieving tangible outcomes. Whether in sales, entrepreneurship, personal fitness, or marketing, the shift from task completion to measurable results leads to greater focus, higher productivity, and ultimately, greater success. By constantly asking, is this action moving me closer to my desired result? Individuals and teams can stay aligned with their goals and make meaningful progress in a shorter period of time. 7. Celebrate achievements. Recognizing and celebrating achievements, both big and small, is vital for maintaining motivation. The authors encourage readers to take time to acknowledge their progress at the end of each 12-week cycle, reinforcing positive behaviors and setting the stage for future success. Celebrating achievements is an important part of the goal-setting and achievement process. It serves as a way to acknowledge progress, reinforce positive behaviors, and maintain motivation. By focusing on shorter time frames, the 12-week structure allows individuals and teams to frequently pause and recognize their wins, which helps sustain energy and momentum. The book emphasizes that celebrating both small milestones and larger goals keeps morale high and encourages continued effort. Through several examples, the authors demonstrate how celebrating achievements can have a profound impact on overall success and well-being. 1. The sales team, celebrating each deal. In one example, a sales team that adopted the 12-week year system found that celebrating achievements, both small and large, helped transform their performance. Traditionally, the team only focused on big wins at the end of the year, such as meeting annual revenue goals or closing major deals. However, this long gap between celebrations left the team feeling unmotivated during tough weeks, when their progress seemed slow. With the 12-week year, the team began celebrating wins more frequently, focusing on the progress made in shorter bursts. For example, they celebrated not just at the end of the 12 weeks but also every time someone hit an individual milestone, such as closing a deal or surpassing a weekly target. This recognition didn't have to be extravagant. Sometimes it was as simple as a team shout-out, a round of applause in a meeting, or a casual team lunch to acknowledge everyone's effort. By celebrating achievements more regularly, the team felt a renewed sense of motivation. They were more energized because each small win became a stepping stone toward the larger 12-week goal. This constant reinforcement helped them maintain their focus, ultimately leading them to surpass their quarterly revenue target. 2. Personal fitness journey, recognizing small victories. Another powerful example from the book focuses on a woman who set a goal to improve her fitness within a 12-week period. Previously, she had been discouraged by setting long-term goals that felt too far away. She'd often give up on her workouts because the progress seemed slow, and she wouldn't allow herself to feel successful until she hit a major milestone, like losing a large amount of weight. When she adopted the 12-week year, she began celebrating her smaller victories along the way. For instance, after a week of sticking to her workout routine, she would treat herself to a massage. When she hit a personal best on a run or lifted more weight than she ever had before, she'd celebrate with a healthy dinner out with friends. These celebrations, while small, made a significant difference in her motivation. By acknowledging her progress each week, she stayed engaged with her goal. Each achievement, no matter how small, was a reminder that she was on the right track. This sense of progress kept her pushing forward, and by the end of the 12 weeks, she had not only hit her fitness goal but had developed a strong, positive association with exercise and self-discipline. 3. Entrepreneurial success, rewarding team effort. In a business example, an entrepreneur who was growing their startup found that celebrating achievements was critical to keeping the team motivated. The startup had adopted the 12-week year system to focus on rapid growth, but the pressure to achieve significant milestones in a short time frame could be intense. The entrepreneur realized that in the pursuit of ambitious goals, it was easy to overlook the progress being made along the way. To keep morale high, the entrepreneur implemented a practice of celebrating small wins throughout the 12-week cycle. For example, when the team hit a key metric, such as securing a certain number of new customers or achieving a revenue milestone, they would celebrate with a team dinner or a fun team-building activity. These celebrations helped reinforce the team's hard work and dedication. One notable celebration came after the team launched a new product. While the launch itself was a big win, the entrepreneur made sure to also celebrate the smaller victories that led to the launch, such as meeting critical deadlines, completing product testing, and finalizing the marketing strategy. By acknowledging each step along the way, the team felt a sense of accomplishment even before the final goal was reached. This regular celebration of progress fostered a positive, collaborative atmosphere within the startup. The team was more motivated to tackle the next set of goals because they felt appreciated and energized by the recognition of their efforts. 4. Corporate project team, acknowledging group success. A corporate project team tasked with streamlining operations and reducing costs also benefited from celebrating achievements during their 12-week initiative. The project required long hours, problem-solving, and the coordination of multiple departments. Without regular celebrations, the team risked burnout, especially when they were in the thick of solving complex problems. The project leader understood the importance of celebrating each milestone. After every significant progress point, whether it was completing an important phase of the project, solving a bottleneck, or hitting a cost reduction goal, the leader would take time to acknowledge the achievement. This could be as simple as sending out an email recognizing the team's work or organizing a brief office celebration with snacks and refreshments. The team learned to appreciate these moments of celebration. It gave them the opportunity to step back and reflect on how far they had come. These small breaks to celebrate reminded them that they were making meaningful progress, even when the day-to-day work felt challenging. By the end of the 12-week period, not only had they met their operational goals, but they had done so with a positive, energized team that felt united in their accomplishments. 5. Personal development, celebrating skill improvement. In a final example, an individual focused on personal development embraced the 12-week year system to improve their public speaking skills. This goal required regular practice and a willingness to step out of their comfort zone, which could often feel overwhelming. Initially, they found it difficult to see their progress, as public speaking improvement is typically gradual. To maintain motivation, they began celebrating small improvements. For instance, after each successful speaking engagement, whether it was delivering a short presentation at work or practicing in front of friends, they would reward themselves with something enjoyable, like a nice dinner or a movie night. After overcoming their fear of public speaking in a particular setting, they treated themselves to a weekend getaway. These celebrations helped them feel accomplished even when the overall goal of becoming a more confident speaker seemed far off. Each acknowledgement of progress boosted their confidence and encouraged them to keep practicing. By the end of the 12-week period, they had not only improved their public speaking skills but had also built a more positive relationship with the process of learning and growth. The examples from the 12-week year illustrate that celebrating achievements is not just about marking the completion of big goals, it's about acknowledging the consistent, small victories that build toward success. Regularly celebrating progress helps maintain motivation, reinforce positive behaviors, and create a culture of achievement. Whether in business, fitness, or personal development, recognizing each step forward energizes individuals and teams, making the journey toward the 12-week goals more enjoyable and sustainable. These lessons provide a practical framework for enhancing productivity, achieving goals, and fostering a results-driven mindset in both personal and professional contexts. Thank you for listening. I hope this content is useful to you. If you like this kind of content, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel to support our team.